Okay, so I'll go ahead and begin. Hello, guys. My name is Melissa, and I'm going to be the moderator for this breakout room. And the breakout this session is on the district committee chairs and just getting like more information on what they are and like how you can be part of it. Um, and we have some like wonderful panelists today. So we have a number of district committee chairs. And I'm going to just go through the various ones we have and like a brief summary of what their role is. So we have the club building and revitalization. So they're primarily in charge of um, chartering new clubs and bringing inactive or suspended clubs back to charter strength. We have conventions and conferences. So they really plan a lot of the aspects around fall membership rally and decon and like some of our other events. We have the diversity, inclusion, and equity chair position, which really plans and execute things relating diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have the K family relations, which promotes Kiwanis family relations with our various clubs and their corresponding Kiwanis Family Club. And then next we have laws, regulations, and awards. So they manage and update district awards, the district's bylaws, and district protocol, which is very crucial. Policy code. And then we have member development and education. So they manage various workshops and educational events, as well as like create educational resources for our various clubs. And then the last district committee position we have is the service district committee position, which they research and implement various service projects for our districts to partake in. So one of the reasons why we're kind of doing this is because we have had a number of our district positions go unfilled. So we're trying to encourage people to apply to these positions to fill them so that we'll have a strong district board in order to like better serve all of our clubs. So with that, I'm going to allow the panelists to introduce themselves and kind of give a brief description as to what their tasks are and how this year kind of has been. And if you guys have any questions, please drop it in the chat, or if you feel comfortable to interject to ask clarifying questions, please do so. So if the panelists can start introducing themselves, that would be great.
I guess I'll go ahead and jump in to get us started. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Montgomery. I served as the chair for diversity, equity, and inclusion this past year. I also served as club president for Randolph-Macon College CKI, and I am the South Division Lieutenant Governor elect for the upcoming service year. My duties my duties for DEI chair primarily consisted of planning different DEI events, whether that was for workshops at decon or fall membership rally, planning other various smaller workshops throughout the year, and yeah, that's pretty much what my tasks were for this past year.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabby Ulate. I was the Membership Development and Education Chair this year. And I guess as far as, I was also a Virginia Tech president. But as far as like my actual tasks go, I kind of did a lot this year because part of my position sort of combined like with the communications officer duties because nobody was there to fulfill that position. So I kind of did a mix of things as far as like updating the website, working on the guidebook. I made a like the Capital District guidebook. yeah, and just generally working on developing educational materials, but also like resources and reaching out to people for presentations at FMR and at DCON.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carson. I'm the service chair, and I'm president of American University CKI. This past year, my main objectives were implementing the district service project, which we didn't have last year, so that was something kind of new in regards to family homelessness, and also trying to pivot and help give clubs resources to do virtual service this year.
Hi everyone, my name is Cami Lamb and I served as the Laws, Regulations, and Awards Chair this past term. And my duties included developing recognition awards for the district and updating them, and also giving updates to the policy code and bylaws by proposing amendments during district board meetings and during district convention. And I'm also in charge of also handling the awards ceremony, and also also talking and just delegating at House of Delegates.
Thank you all so much for those wonderful introductions and just talking about some of the tasks that you guys have done this service year. So to begin, I'm just going to ask, what is the benefits of being a committee chair? And further, what has been your favorite thing about being a committee chair, having your committee chair position?
I can start. I think really because I was a freshman last year, now I'm a sophomore, and like the year was cut short, so I didn't get to meet as many people in CKI that I would have liked to. So especially like during the beginning of COVID, it was great to have like a group of people in CKI that I could talk to and plan events with, which was super fun. And the benefit of being on the committee was probably because I'm also president of American CKI, as I could like see what work the district was doing and adopt that to my own club and stay connected in that way. So yeah.
I can go next. And one of the benefits of having a district board position is again, similar to what Carson mentioned, is getting to connect with members from the district, and also getting to meet people within the district. So as some of you may know, I'm from a different district, so coming into the capital district, I didn't know anyone. And a second benefit from being part of the capital district board is just having the ability to give back to CKI, just because for all these past few years, I've gained so many different benefits from being part of this organization as a general member. And being a leader challenges me to pursue different goals that are more niche, and allow me to think more creatively on how to enhance the district.
I know for me, one of the reasons why I sought out this position was trying to. So Randolph-Macon did not have that big of a presence on the district, whether through having a committee chair or a district-wide officer, or just really being involved in decon fall membership rally. Our club just didn't really do that. We didn't have anyone going in the past. So I thought, and that's something I wanted to change. So I thought I needed to. I wanted to get involved, and last year, I know as I'm sure many of you all did, the events that especially surrounding the death of George Floyd terrified me, and I felt like I had to do something. And then this position gave me a platform to be able to able to do something about it. And then I saw it as the perfect opportunity, given the pandemic, this to be kind of a virtual option. And so those two things combined um, helped me kind of find the courage to do something a little bit outside of my comfort zone and take on this position. So those were the two things really that I benefited the most from this position and why I ended up doing it.
Yeah, so for me, I was actually on the district board last year. So I've kind of been here 2 years now. So I've really liked seeing the district grow and being able to have some sort of part in it. And at least for me, I felt like the most kind of validation in being able to like upgrade the website and kind of like make a consistent brand sort of for the Capital District when we kind of didn't have that before. So I think being able to see like the tangible benefits has been like my favorite thing, like being able to see visually like the growth that we've had as an organization. So definitely recommend as far as being on the board because you really see the benefit of the time and effort that you're putting in.
Thank you guys so much. I definitely resonated with one of Carson's points about since she was in the district position, she could take some of those ideas and have some of that insight and translate it to her home club, which I definitely have utilized. So moving forward, I wanted to ask what has been some of the biggest challenges you guys have encountered while serving out your role? And how did you overcome them?
I feel like everybody here is like time management. Just because I know like a lot of people also that are committee chairs have presidential positions like me. So you're kind of balancing the needs of your home club with the needs of the district board and the entire district. So it's kind of difficult to manage your time between both. So you're giving enough of yourself to what each like separate part needs. Yeah, and I guess overcoming that challenge. I think just again like scheduling, like all the normal things that you do for time management, like make sure you have use an agenda maybe, kind of schedule out your days, especially now that a lot of things are virtual or asynchronous. Like you just have to make sure that you're using what time you have wisely. Um, yeah, I think it's there's no like right answer though, because time management is difficult no matter what role you're in, but definitely just trying to schedule things out, plan time for you to work on specifically like club CKI stuff or CDCKI stuff and making sure you can get it done in time.
Yeah, to echo off of that, definitely relate to it. I'm a grade A procrastinator, and when things are like no one expected this entire year to be virtual, so when things are unexpected, then that just makes it more difficult, I guess, for me to like have that foresight into the future and plan accordingly. So I think definitely like gaining some adaptability skills was something I struggled with in the beginning, but I did benefit from it because it was something I hadn't experienced before. So I think it brought us together as a district because everyone has had those similar issues just with the virtual nature of this year. But I do think it is a challenge.
For me, a challenge I definitely faced first was promoting anything out there to the district. It's very hard to promote things when people aren't like filling out forms or applications, and we really had to work to push it out. And to overcome that, I reached out to people like Gabby and also Madeline and also Masoon to promote to their respective clubs and divisions or the whole district in order to get people to like apply for awards or also respond to forms. And a second challenge that I noticeably faced was that I didn't have a predecessor to guide me through the process of being LRA chair. So being LRA chair, I had to do a lot of new things as making policy code proposals and bylaw proposals as well. So to overcome those challenges, I definitely had to reach out a lot to different district board members for guidance, and also especially Madeline. She helped me a lot with giving me pointers on what I could do and what procedures to do, like when communicating with the district board during meetings when it came to those procedures.
Kind of building off what Cami just said, I did not have a predecessor for this position. This position was created, I believe, in August, and I started like September 1st. And also in that, not only did I not have a predecessor, I really didn't have knowledge about CKI. I had only been a club president or a club officer since March, and I had attended, I think, one district council meeting and one other event. So I had really no connections to work with, no real prior knowledge of what a committee chair even was before I got this position. So just coming in with like no background of what I was to be doing, I knew I had a passion for promoting these, like for these initiatives, but I didn't really know what a committee chair was, what I was supposed to do. The way to overcome that was just kind of trying and seeing what works, what doesn't. I mean, you have feedback now from the other committee chairs, other members of the district board, and of course Matt, who's the district administrator. Just what I had to learn was don't be afraid to try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And now you know what not to do for next time. So it's just one of those things that even if you're in a position where you don't feel like you know people on the district board, you're still a little unsure, that's not necessarily a reason to not go after it. If you have a passion for something, if you believe you would be a good fit for one of these positions, please go and try and do it. No one's expecting you to be perfect, especially on the first try or even on your 8th. No one's expecting you to be perfect.
Thank you guys so much. You really gave a lot of insights into some of the challenges that were faced and how you guys overcome them. That was great. And Gabby already kind of touched upon this, but I wanted to ask, many of you have like two different positions, like one in your club and one on the district's level. And I just wanted to ask, what was that role like balancing the two? What was it like holding, because I know some of you guys are presidents in your clubs, but also doing this. So just walk us through how you kind of navigated and like balanced the two. And were you successful?
I'll jump in to start here. So I honestly felt that it wasn't that big of an issue for me, mainly because a lot of the times, at least for my position, things didn't necessarily cross over. There were certainly there were things that did, but the time commitments were just different. Like I was never having to like reschedule something to be able to go to this function or that function. I actually found the only times that became an issue is once we got closer to decon. In the fall semester, I had no trouble balancing the two positions, but once we got closer, for some reason, I think my time management skills got worse somehow. And then that's when it became an issue. But if you like, I think it was Gabby who said, keep an agenda. That would really help. That really does help. I have an online agenda, and making sure you stay on top of all both things. Don't neglect one of your positions, of course, but it really is doable. And in addition to these two CKI things, I have two jobs and I'm a leader in another organization, so it is possible to do them both simultaneously. So at least for me, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I feel like a lot of us on the board are balancing a lot of stuff. So it's not just like two CKI positions. Like I'm also a resident advisor at my college, and I like am double majoring. So like I have a lot of things going on in my life. But still, it's definitely something that you can do and can balance pretty well as long as you keep yourself on a schedule. And at least for me, I know like Matthew, you said like there's not a lot of overlap. But for me, I sometimes felt like I would go from a district like board meeting to like an officer board meeting one day and like be able to kind of talk more about things, like give more insight into different issues that we had. Um, or like just being able to kind of fully immerse yourself in like CKI stuff. At least for me, I found that kind of helpful as far as like leading my club in a certain direction. Like if we were having issue with membership, be like, oh, I remember like at the district council meeting, we talked about this. So sometimes like they really do connect and can help, they can help each other in one way or another.
Yeah, I agree, especially like streamlining that communication and making everyone aware of what problems and issues are at hand, what activities are going on, things like that. They do work well together. I never felt like my role as a president and also a committee chair were like bashing heads. I thought that they kind of uniquely, the skills from both worked well and helped each other. So it's not that much of a like issue or a time commitment there.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts on balancing your two respective roles. So I just have like one last question that I've been asked to ask, which is, what piece of advice would you give anyone who is interested in um, getting a committee chair position?
Okay, I have good advice. I think you should do something that you're passionate about. And I mean, this is just advice for life. Don't ever get into any of these positions if you don't really care or just like want to put it on your application. I think you should be in some way interested in what you're doing. So, I mean, it can be very like very basic, you know, if you really love service, like maybe service chair is your thing. But just have some sort of passion for what you're doing before you go into it. Like for me, I just wanted to be I really wanted to be communications officer. I'll just say that. But because of the way the bylaws are set up, like I couldn't do that. But membership development and education chair was kind of the next best thing because it allowed me to be able to use like my passion for like graphic design and like being able to like connect with people through that in a way that felt kind of like, I don't know, I can't describe it. It just felt like it was where I needed to be, basically. So kind of think about that and what you want to get out of the experience before you apply, because there are a lot of positions. So, and I would just try to figure out what's your priority and what you would enjoy the most.
Like Gabby said, I agree. If you have a passion for something, please, like that's the number one thing right there. If you um I know I mentioned earlier, I have a passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and if I didn't have that, this position would not be a good fit. It just wouldn't work. Um, I would not let, so that's just to echo Gabby's point, that's 100% correct. But my other piece of advice is, if you do have that passion, don't let worry about not doing a good job hold you back. Um, we are the district board is there to help you. I don't know how many times I talked to either Tanaya or Gabby or Madeline. If you need some help on something, we're gonna help you out. If you have that willingness to take on this initiative, this challenge, you're not going to fail. There's going to be that network of support for you, and we'll look after you. And I'll be on the district board next year. So if you do apply to be a committee chair, you can always you can always come to me for help or for advice. We're always happy. Everyone is happy to talk with you and make sure you're on the right track. So don't be afraid to take that leap.
I think also like taking those passions and like goal setting, I can't stress this enough. Just focus on 2 or 3 things that you would really like to achieve in your position. You can talk about that in your application, but also like when setting up your timeline for the year of how you would like things to go, it could help decrease, in my case, the like midterm blues of like when things got stressful. So I think it gives you a time to manage your time and also like allows you to reflect on what you really want to do and what you're really passionate about. And it really shows in your work. So
Well, as for me, I agree with everyone that having a passion for the position you're going for is very crucial and very important. And also, in terms of commitments too, knowing that, you know, you're not just going to be a leader, you're going to have other different roles in life. You really need to plan out like what you're going to do throughout the year, but also be able to not hesitate and speak up when you feel that you don't have time to complete a task or you need an extension. I feel that this year, being a graduate student is very tough, and communicating with the board and talking to the governor when there are deadlines and any extensions are very important so that they know what's going on and also understand your situation so that you're not being silent, but you're being communicative so that everyone knows what's up, and that way your role when go like unsmoothly.
Thank you guys so much for such wonderful advice. I'm sure whoever is planning on applying would definitely find benefit in listening to some of the advice you guys provided. So that kind of concludes the sort of questionnaire that I was provided to ask. So does anyone, any of the attendees have any questions that they would like to ask our panelists? You can type it and put it in the chat or unmute yourself to ask. And if not, that's also completely fine. I'll give it a couple seconds. Okay, so if no one else
I
has,
can ask a question.
okay, because I thought of some while we were going through this, but go ahead,
Okay,
Madeline.
do you want to go?
No, you go ahead, Madeline. Ask your question.
Okay. Yeah, my question was, what's one thing like going back that you like maybe would have done differently as like a committee chair, or that you like learned from that you may apply in other life, situations other than CKI? If that makes sense. Like, what's one thing that you learned from the position that you're going to use outside of CKI?
I would have asked for help so much sooner. When I first got in the position, I had literally no idea what I was doing, and I kind of dragged my feet for about a month. Like I didn't want to seem like I was not good at anything by not by. I saw, for some reason I saw as asking for help as a sign of weakness. That's not true. Asking for help shows you care, and I was really afraid to reach out for help. And going forward, I know, and this taught me more than anything else. Do not be afraid to ask for help. That is not a sign of weakness. That's a sign that you want to get the job done right. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's one thing I've definitely learned for sure.
One thing that I learned, like kind of in the process of like planning events like FMR and SOTC and no SOTC and Decon, um, we kind of need as leaders, I feel like a lot of the times we kind of think about ourselves, you know, like we're the in the leadership positions and we feel like we need to kind of do everything and make sure everything's correct and it's like all of our responsibility. So I feel like this kind of touches on what Matthew was talking about a little bit. It feels like it's just you in the position, kind of alone. What I'm talking about is I thought it was important for us to reach out to the membership base, like not just other club officers, but the members in the district, specifically after FMR, because we had lower attendance than I would have liked, and definitely other people on the board would have liked. So after that, we did like a survey and reached out to just the basic member of clubs in our district, hearing about what they want from an event, what they don't want from events like this. And I think that was really important for me, just realizing like, yeah, this is a leadership position, but we're leading people, like we're leading people that are basic normal members in different clubs across our district. So being able to like sit and listen to that and kind of ignore what I thought was correct sometimes or what I thought I wanted out of these types of events and listen to what people actually wanted.
For me, something I would have changed completely was looking at all of my folders and all my files that were in my drive. So when I started the position, I was given an email, and what I did was I only looked at the most recent years, but there was a lot of files that were from like long ago that should have been used, and they were outdated. And it was very difficult because I didn't have a predecessor to go back from, and that gave me like a lot of difficulty. And yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets was not looking at every single file that was available, because I might have been looking at the wrong document, or I might have been looking at a document that wasn't giving me the right information. And Madeline can attest to that, because it's very disorganized, and organization for files is very important, and especially for any future successors. What I would do is have all these files set up, and just for them, so they don't have to go look around like on their emails, or ask other district board members if they have like a certain file or document.
Oh my gosh, Kimmy, the file thing. Yeah, I definitely should have done that more, looking at those files. And also, whoever is the service chair next, I will make sure that Google Drive looks nice and shiny for you, because I understand. Another thing I did a little bit at the end of the year when I figured it out was how to set timeline, like deadlines for myself. So whether that be in a planner for you or be online, make those deadlines and also share them with other people. I think that's something really important to do for this next year too.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Madeline, for asking that question. Are there any other questions from the attendees?
Yeah, I was just wondering when the deadline to apply was.
Yes. So I don't think there's like a set in stone like deadline. So the application opens in April. But I think like it will be open up until like the position is filled. So like for example, I believe like Matthew's position, like it was still open in the fall semester and like got filled then. So it really just depends. I don't know if Madeline, you want to chime in here.
Yeah, sure. So applications are created by the next governor. So I'm the outgoing governor. Tonight I'll edit the applications and send them out sometimes within the first 2 weeks of April. And usually they're due around the end of April, sometimes a little bit earlier. So that'll be set by the new governor, but you should be hearing about that very, very soon. So now that you have attended this workshop and are starting to look into the committee roles, you should be able to apply pretty soon, and you'll have at least 2 weeks to fill out applications, if not longer.
Thank you so much, Hina. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but if I did, please correct me. But thank you for your question. Any other questions? Okay. If not, I had one question, and I think we'll probably just have time for one more question. But mine is, what kind of surprised you about the role that you served in? Was there a task that you were asked to do that kind of like surprised you? What were there any aspects of the role that like surprised you that you didn't think about? And if not to, if it was like a very straightforward role, you read the description and everything panned out to, that is great, because that's really what you want, is the job description to match the roles that you will do.
Well, for me, it wasn't a surprise or anything, but because as a district board member, you're also not just doing your own position, but also communicating and helping other board members as well. During my term, there were different tasks I was giving, like whether it be for planning for FMR or decon, or helping out with, for instance, Gabby needed help with one of her guidebooks, so she tasked me to work on a page. So it wasn't a surprise, because I it's something that happens on all boards. You're doing something out of your position. So yeah, that's something that surprised me a little, not surprised me a little bit, but like, that was something extra you have to do as a board member.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to share my screen one last time. Again. Okay, so this is just like some important things to note as you're thinking of applying for district committee positions. So a question was asked about the applications. So just to reiterate what Madeline said, so the applications will be open within the first 2 weeks of April, after the incoming governor kind of reviews them and whatnot, and it will be due towards the end of April. Do you need to have previous leadership experience? So you don't really need to have previous leadership experience, just a passion to serve and to be part of this team. And some of our panelists kind of attested to that. If you have an officer role, can you still become a committee chair? So yes, you still can be a committee chair, because these positions are appointed and not like elected. It's within our bylaws for you to hold both positions. And the point of contact, or the person that you should probably reach out to if you have any questions, would be the incoming governor, Tanaya Bellamy, and her email address will be the same as like for all governors, which is governor@cdcki.org. So yes, that is our time. Are there any last parting questions, thoughts, concerns, what have you? Okay. If not, this was a fantastic session. I hope you guys, for those who are interested in the positions, you were able to absorb a lot of what the panelists were saying, and hopefully we'll take some of the advice into your position if you do accept it. So thank you and have a wonderful rest of the event.